Hello, lads and ladies, and welcome back. League One Live. Big action in the Sky Bet League One this weekend. We have 3 games in the week that we'll quickly go through. And we had 8 games yesterday. Promotion battles at the top. Big wins for teams at the top, but also big drama at the bottom. We had hammerings. We had all sorts. So join me today is Jake Tong from Here for the Lncoln podcast. And let's bring him in. Hi, Jake. How are you, mate?
Good evening, nappers. Yeah, I'm good. I'm very good. I'm very happy. I've had a nice weekend. Obviously, apart from the good result yesterday, which I think maybe shouldn't and maybe could have been better. I had a nice curry with my dad for his birthday yesterday. He turned 60. Oh God, 64. So. You'll probably ask me how on earth I'm the same age as my dad. We had a nice curry around there from a place in Woodall Spa, which was nice. And then today, I've been, like I said to you earlier, I've just been for a roast dinner with my mum. It was really nice. I've had a nice, wholesome day. I had a walk. It's been good, mate. How was your weekend, Ben?
Yeah, happy birthday to Mr. Tong. Not that he's watching, but happy birthday. Hopefully he had a lovely day. Obviously, no United to cheese him off. It was all right. We drew 1-1, another season. Pointless game of football. Naff, no point talking about it. Let's say hello to the comments. Bradford fan here. Is that our best performance of the season? Jakey boy, we're going up together. Cardiff and Lincoln Auto City via the playoffs. You know it makes sense. Bradford winning 2-0 yesterday, which we'll talk about very shortly. Good evening and welcome back to League One Live. Absolutely, if you haven't already, get liking and get subscribing. Hiya, Parmex. Hope you are well. Or you can see the usual 3 goals this week as well. As one of your former old managers would say, as he said in the week, waste of a good performance, David. You lost. Get over it. Is what it is. I do like them apples.
He's coming with his claws tonight.
No, I know. Honestly, they were great yesterday and showed it what the FA Cup was all about, didn't it? And like I say, if you can take that into the league and maybe just shows you the better at playing against a better side, really, as they have in the league as well. Yeah, absolutely, always. I'm not talking about Fleetwood. Absolutely no point. Pointless. Hiya, Sue. Hope you're well. Absolutely. And yeah, we will get into the show. Now, a bit different today. Now, normally we'd have the bigger games at the start. We've still done that. However, what I did want to do was we're going to start off with Blackpool against Plymouth, losing 4-0. Then we're going to go to Reading against Wycombe, which is a bit of a battle for the promotion. Also a 5-goal thriller. Then we're going to go to Bradford City, which is also focusing on the playoffs. And Peterborough, like Reading and Wycombe, are on outside of those playoff positions. We're going to go to Stevenage against Huddersfield, another playoff game as well. So we can all kind of have a look at that playoff bunch as we mean to go on. Barnsley against AFC Wimbledon, we can look at a bit of mid-table mediocrity and maybe the problems why they are where they are and why Wimbledon are maybe not further clear than they probably should be. Then we go to Northampton against Exeter, 2 sides that want to get clear over the relegation battle. I talk about Gary Caldwell a little bit as well, because a bit of an interesting talk. Then we're going to actually talk about the top of the league, that are Cardiff City, now going 4 points clear with a victory over Luton. And then we're going to go into the last game being Luton against Bolton, because I want to talk about the top 2 race and lead that into the end of the show. So yeah, we're going to leave a couple of games that we'd normally put a bit further in the show till late as well. So if you haven't already, get liking, get subscribing. We're 27 away from 18,500 subscribers, and I need your help. So yeah, everything is appreciated. Blackpool 0, Plymouth Argyle 4. Before I do start on any of this, with the position I am in personally, of who I support, this is completely genuine here.
I'm supported.
In no way am I glossing over this or am I laughing at Blackpool. Sometimes when you talk about a team geographically next to you on a map because they're not rivals, but I don't want it to be seen that I'm enjoying this. Do you know what I mean? This is a League One show and I'm completely trying to be fair. So whatever I will say, I am not digging in at Blackpool at all. I will have a dig later on at certain people at that football club. But I think we should start off with Plymouth Argyle, who, after match week 15, which was Tom Cleverley's big number, wasn't it? Judge me after that. They only had 16 points in those 15 games. Since then, 27 points in their last 16. So picking up a whopping 11 points more in just one extra game. And they've been fantastic, haven't they, of late? And at times at Plymouth, it's been what ifs, and there's been a bit of a mixed bag where they can lose heavily at home to Reading and Lncoln, but go and beat Doncaster 5-1 and beat Blackpool comfortably. And they've got some great away wins this season, and they sit 12th now. And yes, they've still lost 15 times. They've still lost 50% of the games. They've still conceded a lot of goals. They conceded 46. But ultimately, they're now up to 40 points with a big win yesterday. And ultimately, it should have been more. They had 22 shots, 11 on target. And they absolutely bombarded Blackpool with everything. The keeper only had to make 2 saves from a Plymouth point of view, which has been a bit of an issue in recent weeks. And again, they've gone back to Hazard in goal. Obviously, the back three have come under critics in recent weeks as well. But they went to Bloomfield Road and made it look easy, made it look comfortable. And Blackpool 0, Plymouth Argyle 4.
Yeah, you're right. We should praise Plymouth Argyle, because to react after last week, where they had such a bad performance on Saturday, to go into Bloomfield Road and winning by 4 comfortable goals, I thought they were fantastic. Big shout out to Alex Mitchell. I don't know if you saw, he did there's been a couple of clips of Alex Mitchell go around since the game yesterday. I don't know if you caught any of them, Ben. The interview that he did, where he talks about how he whacked it in from 30 yards on the volley when in fact it was about 3 yards out, and headed it in. Yeah, but. And then did you see him at the amusements last night in Blackpool, where, I don't know if you've seen this or not. So, you have those, you'll know because you live at the seaside, those arcade games where you have a punch bag and you try and punch it and it tries and it gives you like a 3-number figure. Alex Mitchell just went into that and absolutely head-butted it. I think he got like 800 or something like that. It just shows you the kind of bloke that he is. But I thought they were brilliant yesterday, Plymouth. Really, really good. They took the chances early in the game and killed this Blackpool team off. And we know this Blackpool side, when they do concede a couple of goals, it's very difficult for them in the setting that is Bloomfield Road to get their heads back up and get back into it. A massive word, I think, for Bim Peppel over recent weeks. I know I came on here and sang his praises last week, even though he was on the losing side. But again, he's finished really good, instinct to be there on the goal line to head in, and it's a massive. It's better for Argyle. I mean, you speak about those 16 games going at 27, 28 points. It's nearly 2 points a game. But if you do that over the course of the season, if they did that over 46 games, they'd probably get 72, 73 points, and that's nearly enough for a playoff spot. So in the last couple of weeks, they have been playing like a really good playoff team, and this result just tops it off. I will say as well, what a difference Herbie Kane has made. And I don't know what it is, whether it's, I think it's a Huddersfield problem, where they sign players from other League One clubs that have done really well. They go to Huddersfield, they don't shirk under the pressure, but they don't perform what they can do at League One level. And Herbie Kane is one of them, right? Unbelievable for Barnsley a couple of years ago as they got to the playoff final. Went to Huddersfield, wasn't probably fit, didn't get enough game time. But he's come into Argyle and changed it. I thought he was great last week when I saw him. I thought he was great again. Obviously, he set up the first goal, involvement. He just, now that they're missing Joe Rawls for the season, Herbie Kane is massive. So having that sort of midfielder that demands the ball is going to be huge for Argyle. And whilst their season probably ended like last week, realistically in terms of the top 6, trying to use these next 15, 16 games for momentum is going to be massive for Plymouth. So they want to build up a bit of steam ahead of next year. So I thought they were fantastic yesterday and fully warranted the 3 points.
I don't think, I agree. I do think that they're in that category of a difficult position where they'd have to go on.
And you've unplugged your mic, mate, I think.
If they went on at their run between now and the end of the year, they'd be at 70 points if they went 2 points a game, which is a tough run, don't get me wrong, but they'd be 2 or 3 points off, I think. I think 72 will get you in this year, 76. Got Leighton in Orient in last year. And look, They won 8 out of the last 16. The issue is they've lost 5. So that's 5 possible opportunities where they've not got a point when you don't win. And I'm a big believer in good teams. When they don't win, they don't lose. And that's what Cardiff do. And I think last week you made a comment that they'd drawn as many as they'd won in this unbeaten run. I just come back at you with 2 points a game, that you continue topping up your points and you just gliding towards the next points target. I look at Blackpool. A lot of people think this Blackpool team are too good to go down. And I'll be honest with you, I've been a victim of that. I think that it's more the case of who they are, Blackpool. You don't really associate them being down there in the league, under this ownership, really. Let's be honest about it, because under old ownerships, they were ran into the ground and they didn't have the financial resources to compete, and they were a dead club. Now, all of a sudden, they are a well-ran club-ish. There's issues there to make take them to the next step. They spent money in wrong places, a lot of places. I'll come to that back in a minute. You look at Ian Everett's record, it's not actually that bad. 7 wins, 3 draws, 8 defeats. You've got to remember he won his first 2, so Peterborough and Cardiff. And then, so you're saying that since then it's 5 wins, 3 draws, 8 defeats in the last 16. Now they're only picking up 18 points in 16 games. That is relegation form, after the initial honeymoon period. And people talk about Blackpool's away form, how bad they've been. And you think, at Bloomfield Road, when the mid-table sides come to them, they should be able to pick up points. Well, no team have actually conceded more goals at home than Blackpool. They conceded 25 goals at home. And I know that a lot of that was under Steve Bruce, but just about two or 3 weeks ago, they played Stockport. Stockport again in their last home game again. This was Blackpool, conceded 22 shots. Stockport could have had 3 or 4. Then when they played Northampton, Northampton didn't really offer anything. Blackpool were good. Blackpool's only winning the last 8. And you look at the teams that Blackpool have actually won against since Everett's been in. Realistically, bar the Peterborough and the Blackpool one, I don't come away thinking, because they beat Wigan, Rotherham and Doncaster over that initial Christmas period. But ever since then, they've been shipping goals for fun, and they don't look a cohesive unit, and they just look shell-shocked, and they're too nice. I think Everett mentioned that in his issue, and these players are becoming bad players, and a lot of them aren't. I like Casey from what he's done before. Peacock Farrell is an anomaly where I just think where he'll make a mistake and then he'll go and make a blinding save. And for me, there's too many times where as a goalkeeper, he's not big enough, he's not imposing enough. He comes out, and I think as a back three, you don't feel. The Blackpool have some good keepers. Tyra last year, Matt Jokes many years ago, as me and you know, played for both our clubs. And then he played for Fleetwood as well. These are good keepers that defenders always felt comfortable with. I don't think Peacock Farrell offers anything to that back three, so they're shell-shocked. And other than that, Clarkson's obviously come in. If you take Fletcher out of that team, where are goals going to come? Because I looked at that team, I think there's only about 5 goals in that team this year from other than that. And then the bench, they should be better because they've got Bloxham, Bowler. Horsford came on a 4-year deal, by the way. Niall Ennis was probably one of the best strikers in the league from January to before he got injured. I look at the team.
Dale Taylor was
exactly.
For Wigan.
And these players have been brought in, and I'm a big believer of Blackpool have got good resources and Blackpool have spent money. And Sadler, I've questioned it, has spent money. He's made a lot of money as well. David Downs and Julian Winter are the big issue there at that football club. Now, they did a long interview in the week, and I'll be totally honest, I've listened to parts of it. I do need to listen to all of it. That's my task this week. But when I listen to them speak, they don't sound like football people. They don't sound like they just like your car salesman, and they just think he's a good player. He's done it before. I would say the best thing about Lncoln is they're off the football people. Your Jez Georges, your chairmans, your staff, your manager, not the actual footballers. The work that goes on behind the scenes make good teams, and Cardiff have done that. Stockport have done that over the years. They make good decisions for the football club that keeps them afloat and keeps them going and keeps them pushing on. And that's why Lncoln are so far in front of everyone, because of the decisions, of the data that they use and the way they bring. And Blackpool just clearly don't happen to that. And they're in a relegation battle, like it or not. They are. I think the 6th from bottom. They're only 2 points above 23rd in Rotherham United. They've only won 9 games this season. They're conceding goals after goals, which isn't good at all. They've got a big home game against Mansfield, and these 2 home games I proved as pivotal for them. Then they've got to go away at Bolton and Lncoln, which Bolton, you never know. Nothing to really lose there. Then the month of March, I was listening to you, or I was telling you off camera before we started. Wigan at home, Wimbledon away, Doncaster away, Port Vale at home, Cardiff, and then they're doing this the return of the fans, the anniversary, which is a great initiative from the football club. See, they do get things right. I'm not completely slating them. And they've got Exeter. That is 7 out of 8 games going into April, where Blackpool will be decided. And ultimately, because of what they've got in that changing room and the manager they've got, I do think they'll get out of it. But ultimately, Blackpool pushing on next season with who's there currently, I do worry, Jake.
Yeah, you struggle to see it, don't you? But I mean, on paper, I imagine a lot of people have this Blackpool team in and amongst the top 6. I know I certainly did this season. I mean, you look at the names that they got, you've already mentioned it, but it does feel like there is more of a systematic issue at Blackpool than there is with a lot of other clubs. They, like you say, just behind the scenes, I think Simon Sadler, who was viewed as a bit of we could do no wrong 5-6 years ago, whereas now he's making bad decision after bad decision after bad decision at the football club. And the fans are the ones that are suffering for it, but they're still behind their team, right? I know they probably all left it 4-0 yesterday, but they still come out in the numbers. They still create a really good atmosphere. I still stand to that North stand is the noisiest stand that I've ever seen at a football ground before. When I went there last season, they're a really, really good support base. I really massively rate Blackpool. I'm not saying that because you're my mate, but I'm saying it because they are a top supported side. But yeah, it like Jordan said, Jacob says in the chat, they've got these teams down the bottom to play, and that's really where you imagine they can really stamp home their authority on those games, because they have got quality on paper. They have got Ash Fletcher, who can score a load of goals. They have got other strikers that can contribute in the right system. Niall Ennis, Dale Taylor, Tom Blocks, who I think is a really useful player as well. So, yeah, I'm not sure where it's all gone wrong for Blackpool. I can't put my finger on it. But like you say, when you're making bad decisions across the board from the top, it's so easy for the football inside to slide. And ultimately, that's what Blackpool have done this year. But they'll feel like destiny is in their own hands, but it could go the other way. Like, they've got all those games at home, they might not win them all. If they win 2, lose 3 or whatever, Blackpool are bang in trouble. So it is in their own hands, but they've got a lot of work to do, Blackpool, if they're going to stay up, I think.
And James Husband getting sent off just for booting.
Stupid red.
Come on. Stupid. Absolutely stupid. So Blackpool are at this moment in time. Reading 3, Wycombe 2. Now, Jack Marriott, since he's come back into League One, obviously he was only in it a short period of time ago with Wrexham. And, he's played at this level many occasions at Fleetwood, and then, at Peterborough, especially, where he really made his name for those goal-scoring seasons in 17-18, where I think he scored 33 that season. He's the third player to score a hat-trick on Valentine's Day across the 4 tiers across English football since Aubameyang against Leeds just 5 years ago. Since coming in at Reading have scored 42 goals in the league. He's been involved in 18 of them, whether he's scored them, 15 of them, 3 assists, 42% goal involvement. Now, Reading were struggling to score goals. Reading were struggling to win games of football. Now, the difference has been is Jack Marriott. Now, that's great. And it's great that you've got a goal scorer, and it's great that, and I certainly think that I went on, social media, TikTok this morning, and basically I think Reading are in with a chance of getting in the playoffs, because the 3 points outside with a game in hand, the form they've been in has been impressive. In the last 12, they've won 7 of them. They've drawn 3. Now, Liam Richardson's style of football might not be the greatest to watch. It might not be the greatest on the eye. My issue is they are conceding a lot of chances. 24 chances, I think 10 on target for Wycombe yesterday. They have conceded a lot of goals. So defensively, there's worries. My worry is the other side of it. When Jack Marriott's goals dry up, where are the goals going to come from? Because defensively, they will probably concede. Have they got enough goals in them away from Jack Marriott? Obviously, they've scored 24 goals without him in the last 21 games, which is bottom of the table-esque. It's great that you got a goal scorer, but I think that all the good teams have goals from all over. But again, good win yesterday for Reading, and this felt pivotal in a little playoff battle. If Wycombe would have won it, it could have been them that we're talking about, a playoff battle.
Yeah, it was one of those games, wasn't it, where I think the factual scoreline is Jack Marriott 3, Wycombe Wanderers 2. I think what Jack Marriott does best, and you've seen this maybe in a Fleetwood shirt, but I remember certainly seeing it in a Derby County shirt when I was at uni there. He's opportunistic. He chases lost causes. He gets in behind and he causes problems. And that's really where two of his goals come from yesterday. The first one where he sort of capitalises, and it's a really good finish, that first one where he hits it into the ground and it bounces over the keeper. That's sort of Mesut Ozil used to be a master of that, if you remember watching him in the Premier League. But he is, the form that he's on, 15 goals in the league so far this season in about 21 games. Like, the guy's an absolute fine. If Reading, they have the service from deep, they have Wing, they have Savage, they have Kiawara, they have Kamari Doyle feeding him, Paddy Lane, although he tried his best to assist Wycombe yesterday. I feel like that was the difference between the two teams. Reading had a striker on form. Wycombe, if they had a proper number 9, would probably have scored at least 2 goals. Reading defensively, I thought yesterday, as good as they were going forward, and they created some really good chances. Like, they didn't half give Wycombe a real opportunity of getting something out of that game. Really, really poor. I think their blocks were very good, but they were giving opportunities to Wycombe. I mean, Katerna had a couple, one that he put over from about 6 yards, which he should have scored. And that is a concern for Reading, because if they are going to finish in the playoffs, it's all well and good scoring a load of goals. And we say this about Leyton Orient, right? When they had Don Ballard scoring goals all the time, but conceding at the other end, and Reading concede chances. I think Wycombe could have easily scored 4 goals, 5 goals yesterday, but they just haven't got that consistent number 9 who's putting the ball in the back of the net like a Marriott. So, yeah, Reading have got a chance. They've got a real big chance, like you say, 3 points behind. Is it Huddersfield in 6th for the game in hand? Yeah. Be massive for them to be level on points with Huddersfield. They've got a real opportunity. They need to go and back it up, I think. Obviously, they've had a couple of wins over Wimbledon. They lost to Wimbledon 3-2. They won yesterday, but they beat Wigan in the week, which was massive for them to be 6 points. They've then got Bolton on Tuesday. If they can go and beat Bolton, I'm on your side, Reading fans, obviously. But if they can beat Bolton on Tuesday night or get a positive result out of that, maybe a point, I feel like the belief will start to go. But they need to tighten up defensively. You think of, when I think, Ben, of that Wigan team that won the title under Liam Richardson, they were so good at the back. Like, they were very good going forward as well. Will Keane scored a load of goals, didn't he? They had James McLean. They had some really good players, but they were so hard to score against. They were fantastic in that 21-22 season. So he needs to try and instill some of that back, because they've got the personnel back there. I mean, Ben Ward did really well for Accrington, didn't he? In League 2 this year. Puddy O'Connor, everyone knows my opinions of him. So, yeah, I think that's where they need to. I think that's where they need to improve. But as long as you've got a goal scorer in your team, mate, you've got a chance.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think you're only as good as your centre forward. For me, and Reading have got a top class one. And you raised an eyebrow at me last night when I said to you, "Is it my team of the season?" You went, "Really?" I went, "He's a top goal scorer." He's a top goal scorer level.
If his goals dry up, Ben, do you think Reading? Do you reckon that's their season?
Yeah, absolutely. But you could also say that, if Bolton's Sam Dolby stopped scoring goals at this moment in time because he's been pivotal to them, or Bobby Poynton or stopped scoring for Bradford, which obviously we'll come to now because he did score him. I mentioned a few weeks ago that Bobby Poynton was probably the biggest home player ever. By the way, before I do come on to it, thank you to Adam for the donation there. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. As always, Bobby Poynton's got 9 goal contributions in the league this year, 8 goals, 1 assist. All of them have come at Fortress Valley Parade. And since November 28th, Bradford City are drawless. They've had 14 games, they've won 8, and they've drawn 6. So 24 points from 14 games. It was enough for a playoff spot. Although they've had 6 bad occasions, they've had 8 very good ones. They've had none really in the middle, but they've won 8 games. And again, this is a big game, this really. Again, like that Wycombe game, that if Wycombe would have won that game of football, they'd gone to 46. Reading would have still been on 43. Whereas if Bradford would have lost that, they'd been on 49, and Peterborough would have been on 47. But now they've opened up an 8-point cushion, and Bradford got 2 games in hand. You do almost feel that is one team pushed alongside away from the playoffs, and that's what you need to do when you're in a playoff battle. Similar when you're in a relegation battle. Caden Jackson scored his first goal of the season as well since coming to the football club, and since the start of last season, Bradford 28 home wins. When you're good at home, when you set the tone, and I love what Graham Alexander said yesterday. Look, you only live once. Why not believe? Why not go for it? Why not work as hard as you possibly can? And what a job he's done at the football club, not just this season, last season. The last 2 years, he's reset the culture at the football club, which was toxic, not a great place to be. Bradford's buzzing right now. They might have had a bit of a lull of late, but ultimately they feel like they're still doing okay, relatively speaking, and they feel like they are moving now better in the right direction. They've struggled for losing games of football, but ultimately they've won half the games of football. They're only a point behind Stockport County, who have been lauding. They're only 3 points behind Bolton Wanderers with 2 games in hand. I think they deserve humongous credit for that.
Yeah, they do. I thought yesterday was probably the most complete performance we've seen from this Bradford City team all season. When I say this could have ended 8-9-0 to Bradford, I'm not joking. They were outstanding and created loads of opportunities. Alex Bass did really well in the Peterborough goal to keep them down after a couple of clangers in the first half.
29 shots.
Yeah, they were fantastic, Bradford. Completely different to the side that we saw that went and lost those 3 massive games against Lncoln, Cardiff and Huddersfield last month. I think Caden Jackson adds a little bit of experience to that top line, which I think they needed. With Andy Cook going out the building, big players coming back for them in recent weeks as well. Ben Sarcevic, who had a couple of weeks on the touchline, he was out. Bobby Poynton was out. Obviously, they had Curtis Tilt was on the sideline for a long time. Baldwin as well. So they've got these players back, and all of a sudden they're performing back to the level that they were at the start of the season. It's no surprise. But the one man that I'd love for us to speak about in a little bit of detail, Ben, is Jensen Metcalf. I mean, that boy has become an absolute top player. I mean, obviously, we saw him last year, didn't we, in the flesh for Chesterfield in that League 2 playoff game that we went and watched. To be honest, he didn't stand out that day. I don't know if you can remember. I think he didn't stand out. He was up against Alfie Chang, who I think scored in that game. So a little bit disappointing. But since making the move from Everton to Bradford, he's completely relished it. And he pulls the strings in that team. Next to someone like Max Power, he needs to be a lot more mobile, get up and around him, which I think he does. And so often he gets involved with these number 10s that they play. And how many times have you seen Jensen Metcalf firing shots from outside the box this season? He's scored quite a couple. The one against Cardiff the other week, although it didn't mean anything, stands out. So this guy is a top player and will be Bradford City's next sale. I think he'll probably get a move to the Championship in the summer. That's how good he has been. But like you say, Bradford's so strong at home. Really good win. And look, they'll be thinking, the 10 points off the autos at this minute. Win a game in hand, that's 7. Bradford City have an outside shot of the top 2, but they'll be above Bolton. They'll be above Stockport if they win that game in hand as well, Ben. So if we're saying Bolton and Stockport are in it, I think you have to maybe throw Bradford's hat in the ring purely because of how strong they are at home.
Yeah, I get you. But if we're saying 90 points, do you really think Bradford are going to go and get 40 points out of 45? Really? Do you think? For me, I think that, yes, Bolton are in it because they're 6 points behind you, and it's only a game in hand. Lncoln can lose a game of football, and they can easily win 2 games, and they're in it. Right? Don't get me wrong. But ultimately, the way Bradford have been, they've still lost 6 games in the last 14. They've won yesterday, and it was a great win for them. But away from home for a side that have only won 4 out of 15. And you talk about the other sides that are up there, Lincoln have won 7 out of 15. Cardiff have won 7 out of 15. Stockport have won 7 out of 14. I just think with Bradford, they're great on their own pack. The way they play suits their home stadium. That's why Bobby Poynton, and that's why they score more goals, especially at home. And Bobby Poynton's effective at home. But for me, I just can't see it. I think that they could easily go meet Stockport on Tuesday night, and it's an electrifying night. But ultimately, I think they could go and lose 1-0 to Wimbledon next week. I just don't trust them. And I think, they got 2 games now, but 10 points is some hell of a shift. And I think that you could see potentially 88 points to it now, because are Bolton really going to go and get 90-34 from a possible, what we're saying, 14 and 42 points? That's again. So I'm thinking maybe 87, 88. So you're asking Bradford to go and get 36 from 16. It's not out of the ordinary. I just don't think personally, my opinion, they'll do it. I think they'll finish inside the playoffs. But ultimately, I think that you've got to play your game in hand. And I think that it's a tough pitch, Bradford. And I think that they'd have to be perfect at home and pretty perfect away.
Yeah, it is asking a lot, isn't it? But I certainly think that if they're not going to be part of that automatic race, they need to end the season strongly going into the playoffs, because it's likely that they'll be coming up against one of Stockport, Bolton, or Lincoln in the playoffs, having to play at home first. So they'll need to get that advantage going into that second leg, because, like you say, away from home they have been so patchy. But yesterday was much better. That's 2 wins in 3 now for Bradford. So I'm sure they'll be feeling confident. They probably only need another 20 points from the next 16 games to finish in the playoffs, which I think Bradford City will. I think Bradford City will do that this season. But they want to try and end the season strongly and really milk your case, because like we've seen, like the playoffs are a lottery, aren't they, Ben? Like literally anybody in the playoffs could win it. So, back to normal for Bradford yesterday, I thought.
Yeah, agree with you. Really good performance. Stevenage 1, Huddersfield 0. Big game this. Stevenage needed heart, desire, passion, and to find something ultimately, and they do find it with a 1-0 victory. And you could also say, as bad as they've been, in the last 6, they've drawn 2, they've won 2, they've lost 2, and they've won 2 out of the last 4. They've taken 1.5 points a game in that period, and they've won, if you want to go that far, back-to-back home games 1-0. They've not conceded 1 in the last 4 home games, or 2 in the last 5 home games. So it's Stevenage are hard to beat, especially on their own turf, and it gives them a slimmer of a chance of a playoff spot. Look, they're 4 points outside. If Luton are involved in it, if Reading are involved in it, Stevenage are certainly involved in it. You didn't really need to search Carl Pedriani's goal if you ever suspected a dead ball situation. He scored an header. Yeah. You just knew it was going to happen. I could probably come on here and say he probably did it. Although you probably thought the same about Niall Canavan, where Colchester said he scored a bullet header when it was a half volley from about 2 yards out. Big win this for Stevenage. Huddersfield very flat, no shots on target. They were great in the first 3 games, and there was talk about, they're going to go on this amazing run. They're going to win 13 in a row. It was never going to happen. It was never going to happen. And ultimately, they've gone through this sticky patch now, these last 2 games under Lee Manning. Maybe the honeymoon period is ultimately over. Yeah. But also, they're still in a half-decent position. I questioned Stevenage last week, but they were much better yesterday. It was Stevenage all over. Very nothing in it. Boring game. Slow it down. Make it their game. Keep it 0-0 and go and win it in the last 20 minutes or so. And that's what they did. Carl Pedriani, so often the man at the other end that's blocking stuff. He's a massive influence on that team. And he's big bullet header gave Stevenage all 3 points, and Matt Farley was absolutely buzzing.
Yeah, I mean, you literally stole my thunder there, Ben. I was going to say it was exactly the goal you expected it to be. I imagine many people who popped up and saw that Stevenage had gone 1-0 up from a Harvey White assist for a Piergiani header. It's exactly what you expect. But I thought Stevenage were better yesterday, and they created a number of chances. And the difference, I thought, Ben, was having Matt Phillips running around Jamie Reid. And I think that offers a massive difference. Jamie Reid, when he plays up front with someone like a Harry Cornick, is expected to be that focal point. Matt Phillips became that focal point yesterday. It's not maybe something that people associate with Matt Phillips based on his career as a wide player in the Premier League and the Championship with Crystal Palace, with Blackpool, with QPR. But I thought yesterday he played West Brom. I thought he played that target man role absolutely fantastically yesterday. And he allowed Jamie Reid to thrive. And they had opportunities, didn't they, Stevenage? There was one that was a great save from Nichols. There was one scramble off the line. But ultimately, why score a goal in an open play when you don't need to? When you're Stevenage and you can just overpower teams from set play. And it's a lovely ball in from Harvey White. I think he's been off the boil the last couple of months. I think he got all of his goal involvements in sort of September, October time, in an eight game patch where he got all of his goal involvements. He's been dry ever since, but a great ball in yesterday for the header. And you know, I thought Stevenage were comfortable. I thought they were. Huddersfield were shambolic. If that's Huddersfield Town at their best, they're going.
No, nowhere near the best. They were awful yesterday.
They were horrific. And I did say, I seem to remember when Liam Manning came in, they won a couple of games. I did seem to think, I said, I think this is a bit of a new manager bounce. In my credit, I think I did say that. And obviously, yesterday was abject. Yes, they're missing key players. Obviously, Bojan Radulovic is out. Ryan Hardy's not available. I mean, the bench was missing a number of players yesterday. But I just thought, you know, they're very sideways and backwards. Loved having possession for possession's sake. I think the big loss for them is Marcus McGuane going off early. He's a massive player. Under Liam Manning, we saw it at Oxford, we saw it at Bristol City, how key he is to his system. I'm not quite sure on the extent of that injury, but that's going to be a real problem if he's going to be out long term. So, yeah, they'll want to put a performance they'll want to put behind them, but a great win for Stevenage. It keeps them just about involved with that conversation of the playoffs, doesn't it? You know, 4 points behind Huddersfield now, 2 games in hand. If we're saying, you know, Reading have a great opportunity, I think Stevenage have got a great opportunity as well. So, yeah, fair play to Borough. I think going forward, that 3-5-2 is going to work with Matt Phillips and Jamie Reid at the top.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And they've got 2 games, difficult games now, where they can get quite muddy, really, because Doncaster away, a team that knocked them out on penalty kicks in the Champions League, the Virtue Trophy, out on Tuesday night. And then obviously they've got Barnsley. And if you lose Yorkshire derbies, it's not just losing a game of football, it's losing a game. And you don't want to do that. Look, they were horrific in that game against Barnsley early in the season. They beat Doncaster, didn't they, I think, at their home stadium. So they've got to go and do it, really. And by the way, 135 in the chat is amazing. So thank you very much to everyone that's joined. Massively appreciated that. So if you haven't already, please get liking. Please subscribe. We're 22 away from 18,500 subscribers. So if you could subscribe, if you haven't already, it would really help down below. So just go down there, press subscribe. And a big happy birthday to Dylan, who turns 15 today. Hope you've had a good day, my friend. Barnsley 3, Wimbledon 3. Tale of both of these teams' seasons, Jake. Wimbledon just can't quite hang on. Barnsley can't keep a clean sheet. Rhys Cleary with 2 unbelievable assists. You get goals of the season, you get managers of the season, you get goals of the month. I'm going to make a new award. Assist of the season. I've seen some pearlers this year. Lewis Wings away in Northampton. I think Jack Marriott is up there. But this one from Cleary is unbelievable. The close ball control on that far hand side is breathtaking. He beats his man for pace, for power, agility. Takes him on and puts it on an absolute sixpence for David McGoldrick just to tap home. He couldn't have placed it any better. The second one is similar. He's got a little bit more room, but he just puts it again on a plate for the other centre forward in Tom Bradshaw. You know, this system that Barnsley playing 4-4-2, Banks on the other side as well. And then you're seeing this is Barnsley at the best. Great at home, scoring lots of goals. But then they let Wimbledon come back into it. Omar Bugle is... I don't know how that goal happens. Now, for me, Seddon on the left-hand side, he's got probably 5 yards of space to whip a ball in, and then Omar Bugle just plods it into the far-hand corner, which is an unbelievable header. And then the other side, Tilly puts a great ball in, and it's well worked by both kind of the sides, Seddon operating more as a left-side centre-half these days, but predominantly can play out like a left-hand wing-back. Great ball in from Tilly. And then again, Bugle plods it home. And then Brown, who got 3 goals last week, puts Wimbledon in front, and you're thinking, this is Barnsley. Barnsley's defence is horrific. Barnsley, let's be honest about it. Yes, most of it have come from Davis Keeler-Dunn, but ultimately, they scored lots of goals. And only Cardiff, Lncoln, and Huddersfield have scored more than Barnsley. But only Leyton Orient, 49, as many, Doncaster on 50, have conceded more than Barnsley. And I said, it's a gen bet, isn't it? Both teams to score at Oakwell over 2.5 goals. It always seems to happen there. And Wimbledon go 3-2 up, and you're thinking that is it. But then Banks, who has been absolutely brilliant, I think he's played 4 games so far and got a goal contribution every single one of them. 3 assists earlier prior to this, 1 in each, and then a goal yesterday. But overall, again, Barnsley should be thinking, well, we should be winning this. They've had double the shot, nearly double the amount of on target. Wimbledon, though, we've mentioned their games are decided later on in the day. If you took it from 76 up to the game starting to 75 minutes, Wimbledon will be 5th, 9 points better off. Lncoln will be top of that table, by the way, just for context, But ultimately, both of these teams are... Wimbledon's a good point for them away from home. They've got different aims to this Barnsley side. Don't get me wrong. It's another point closer to safety. I think you're now looking from a Wimbledon point of view. You're looking at, the 7 Clay, you're probably looking at they need another 12 points from 16 games. And look, I mentioned they only had 8 points from 16 games prior. Well, they've got eight points from the last 5, so much better. For Barnsley, they were talking about the playoffs again, but now they are 11 points off. Yes, they still got 4 games in hand, but ultimately, I think that's season over for Barnsley.
Yeah, big time. And it has been for a while, I think, with Barnsley. But what I would say about Barnsley is they've got like a top 3, top 4 attack, but a bottom 2, bottom 3 defence. The chances they gave Wimbledon yesterday were shambolic from a Barnsley point of view. But let's focus on the positives of Barnsley. Like you say, Reyes Cleary, what a footballer. Really unique build, a little bit on that left-hand side. Big, powerful, quick, strong. And you really do wonder, we spoke about where Blackpool would be without Ashley Fletcher. Where would Barnsley be without Reyes Cleary this season and all his goal involvements and contributions? I mean, for him to be doing it consistently at his age shows exactly why Barnsley fans suggest that he has quite a high price tag to get him out of the football club in the summer. The first 20 minutes of Barnsley, outstanding. The next 20 minutes, horrific. Fair play to Wimbledon for clawing the way back in. Omar Bagir is a player that I've really liked from his days at Sutton United. 2 really good headers, I thought, that get them back into the game. And then Wimbledon thought they nicked it through Marcus Brown. A really nice finish. But again, a Barnsley mistake to set that one up, isn't it? They let the ball go to Maycock. He just strides into the area, completely unmarked, and picks out Brown in the middle of the goal. But a little bit of confidence in this Barnsley, a bit of character with Scott Banks, a great finish. And it does feel like Barnsley season's been over for a while. Yeah, they've got the games in hand. I mean, they even had their game on Tuesday called off, didn't they, away at Stevenage right at the end, which I imagine is frustrating. But that's the thing. Like, yes, they have these games in hand, and Barnsley fans might think they're going to get there, but they've got to, like we say every week when we talk about Barnsley, they've got to fit these games in between now and the end of the season, and it's going to be difficult for them. I think Stockport as well, now that they've got through to the Virtue Trophy, they're going to have to postpone games. I think their cup game against Mansfield has been called off as well.
It's 10 weeks, isn't there? Well, say, because you don't really play a Tuesday. Well, there's probably 11 weeks before the end of you're playing 16 games. Barnsley got 18, haven't they?
Yeah,
so
it's going to be a scheduling nightmare. But I thought...
Look at Lncoln, they got 15 to play. And you look through it. I was looking through it, the other day. I think Lncoln have only got, maybe 4 Tuesday nights to play. This week. 3 Tuesday nights to play.
Blackpool, Huddersfield, and Exeter, right? I think
Blackpool's a Saturday.
Not Blackpool. Huddersfield, Northampton, and Exeter.
And 2 of those are what everyone else plays anyway.
Yeah.
So you've only got 1 catch-up game.
Yeah, the Exeter game, right, is our game in hand, I think.
And you've got to remember as well, Barnsley got to go to Stevenage as well for the 3rd time. Yeah, and then get it called off again.
Do you remember he got called off? He got called off last season, didn't I? I remember Andy Simcox.
Free pie, all of them.
Yeah, Andy Simcox was absolutely fuming. I remember he was sat in Hitchin down centre. He was absolutely livid with with Smith.
Absolutely not on that, Jake. I've travelled a long way today to come down here. What's this lot? It's not on. Not happy. Tin pot lot, this.
I love Andy Simcox so much.
Clubs can't win with that, though, because you think about it, right? If they call it off early and they go, well, it's due to stop raining in an hour, right? That's what they'll be saying. But then they call it off late and you go, well, we're bloody well here now, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah. Clubs can't win when they call games off. I think there needs to be less criticism thrown at them. But this game is exactly the epitome of why Barnes are going nowhere in League One under this ownership. And at the minute, I think I said it at the time when he got appointed, I wasn't massively convinced on Conor Hourihane as a head coach. I think that's a fair comment based on what he's done so far. Barnsley are a big club for this level. I think they've got a great.
They've got the squad to be better.
I
think for me, I think that they've got very good players, right, individually. But I look through their squad for me, and I think, look, they've recruited well, but they're about 4. If they had another 4 or 5 really, really good players, they're a top 6. They're a top 6 team, in my opinion. But for me, the issue is they are a selling club, and they don't really reinvest that money back into the football club. They've cleared up for £5 million. Let's be honest about it, because that's what they'll probably be asking for. I think in the January, weren't they? I think that
ridiculous amount of money. He's a good player, but he's never worth
2-3 million, maybe. I think that at push, because he's still a young player and he's still had a great season. I think that especially if you don't want to sell, Connell's a good player. Again, Bradshaw obviously is a bit past McGoldrick. I think in the summer you've got to be looking for a new front two, haven't you? Because how long can Didsey keep getting you out of an hole?
Yeah, not very long. But this epitomises why Barnes are going nowhere. I thought this game. Fair play to Wimbledon. They went as plucky underdogs and they got something. And I thought that sort of performance coming from 2-0 down away from home at a big ground like Barnsley can sort of galvanise the team a little bit. And they got something away at Barnsley when nobody probably expected them to. I mean, looking at the predictions, Ben, that we did, we both went for Barnsley wins. I went for 3-2, which is really upsetting that they scored, that it didn't quite go my way. But yeah, this is exactly why Barnsley are going nowhere at this minute in time.
Absolutely. Still 135 of you. If you haven't already, get like and get subscribed and keep your comments coming. 3 games to go. We're off to Northampton before going to Cardiff, before going to the big one in Lincolnshire at the end, before going into the table, and then predictions as well. Hope you are enjoying the show at home. Now, this is a big game. I'm not going to dismiss it just because it was 0-0. And I'm glad that we can have a bit longer to talk about this, actually. I think that, and I mean this with every, in the nice way possible, both of these teams at the start of the season have the same aims: to get to 50 points, to stay up, head above water. Anything else is a bonus. Northampton finished on 60 points a couple of years ago. If they can get to that, then brilliant. But ultimately, if they can get between 54 and 58 points, great season. Same for Exeter. Now, this almost feels like at the start of the year, if you are talking about where you're going to go and get your wins from in your next 5 or 6 games ahead of you, where you calculate your points, both of these teams will be having this down as a win. More Northampton being at home, but you'd be thinking they're the games, if you want to stay in League One, you've got to win. So it's important that you don't lose it. And yes, Exeter at 39 points after 30 games, and with a couple of games in hand, they could potentially go above their own rivals with that. So, but ultimately, Exeter have probably still another 12 points off safety. I'm saying 51 will keep you up this year. Northampton going to 34. If Northampton would have lost that yesterday, they're on 33, and then they are in 18th position. 19th position really, because of the goal difference would swing another way. And then they're a point above. So it's important for Northampton not to lose, but also important for Exeter not to lose, because they're on 38 and Northampton would have gone to 36. That would have dragged them right back into it after a good run. What do you make of this game then, Jake? Because Northampton, to be fair to them, I think this is their 3rd 0-0 draw. Obviously, I think they did draw Northampton, and I think it was Stockport 0-0. I think they drew 0-0 at Bolton, didn't they? So they often can dig out a performance when they've needed it, and they've done that in recent weeks. And ultimately, they didn't play great, did the Northampton yesterday. Only 3 shots, 32% of the ball, 0 on target. Exeter, 17 shots on target, 5 on target rather. It was important that Northampton came away with a point. But Exeter will be thinking, how have we not won that?
Yeah, I'm going to look at it from the Northampton point of view, which I know you're going to be awfully surprised about.
No, well, all I'm saying is I said to Jake before I went, have you bought your ticket yet? Before he goes, what's you on about? I went, for Tuesday, he goes, I'm seeing to go. I went, oh, I just thought you'd have to pay to go in the away end.
Yeah, it's going to be a nightmare watching us put 5 or 6 past Northampton on Tuesday night. Trust me, I'm not going to take any satisfaction, but I think they're walking out of here with being a good point. I think they had moments in the game, Northampton, but I think based off what I'm seeing here with the stats, Exeter's a tough place to go. I think they've not lost at home there since, I want to say, middle of September, Ben, since Exeter last lost. I get a league game at home.
Lost to Rotherham.
Oh, well,
4-0.
Okay. So
one game
before that. So they lost one. They've lost one game since the middle of September, which is a fantastic achievement for
I can just picture the comments now. By the way,
yeah, well, just you wait till later on. I'm going to be commenting later on. Hello, Bolton fans. Nice to see you back here.
I've done it for the Fan Zone podcast to come as well.
Yeah, I've told the Fan Zone to tell it to. Have I told you that? I've not told you that. I've told the Fan Zone podcast when they kick out to send their people right here because they know exactly. Cole was going to do it, he said for me. So if you are coming from the Fan Zone podcast in the next 8 minutes, hello, nice to see you. You will get your moment in the sun. Don't you worry about it. But yeah, Exeter really good in this game. They really know how to play SJP really well, don't they? But I think the main talking point about this one, Ben, really, and it is the future of Gary Caldwell, isn't it? Because lots of rumours and reports of him making a return to Wigan. Just quickly, a great point on the road for Northampton, like I said, but Exeter maybe will feel like they should have won that. But yes, Gary Caldwell, Ben, this is the big talking point, isn't it? Because, I'm reading the BBC article, and the BBC, having done work experience for them, are not allowed to talk about rumour, or they're not allowed to talk about speculation on BBC Sport on the website. Yet here they are, saying that Gary Caldwell is poised to take over at League One rivals Wigan. I'm thinking the BBC must know something that the general public don't know at this minute in time. But it does look set to happen. I'll ask you, how big of a loss do you think this is for Exeter? Because yes, he's maybe not the flashiest manager, but I think he got it at Exeter, which I think takes a lot of hard work. It took him a long time to get it. I think he's an excellent coach for what they want to achieve in terms of being a League One club. This is probably on par with their most successful period of the time as a club, being in League One. Yes, they've not been up the top end of the table, but they're consolidated. They've been solid for a number of years now. But since coming up, they've not really looked in too much danger of slipping back down. And again, this year, everyone had them to go down, didn't they? A lot of people had them. I think somebody had them 24th this year, Nappers.
Did I?
Yeah, I watched your predictions there. I think you had Exeter 24th. And a lot of reasons are completely valid, right? Because they've got the fan-owned, small budget, whatever. At least you had them 23rd. I can't massively remember. But it's going to be so hard for them to get someone who is doing the same job as Gary Caldwell because they're so restricted in what they can do budget-wise. You've got to buy in at Exeter, like you have with all these clubs that are so far away from anywhere else. You've got to buy in, haven't you? You've got to get yourself in amongst the community. You've got to get in amongst the fans, the trust. You've got to win the trust of everybody. So, yeah, how big of a loss do you think this is going to be for Exeter if he does, take over at Wigan?
One thing I will say as well, there's a lot of stick for BBC Radio Devon for agreeing to not ask. Now, from someone that has, within the last year, worked and helped. Worked out and helped Phil. Very funny. It's a very difficult situation to be in because from the radio station, they should be allowed to ask because they are there not to do the interview for Exeter City. They are there to interview for their station. And realistically, yes, it's going out on club platforms. They should be allowed to ask that question, in my opinion. However, if they went in there all guns blazing, asked the question, Gary Caldwell will probably more than likely walk out. They've got the backs of Exeter, and that journalist then who's just been told he's probably he will be on his marching orders because they'll either probably allow him in the stadium or their radio station into it. So, for context, for people having a go at the radio station for agreeing, they're in a no-win situation there. They should be allowed to answer the question. But ultimately, I can see why. on the Gary Caldwell thing, I do like the job he has done at Exeter. He's done a tremendous job. Don't get me wrong, there's always periods with Gary Caldwell. There's 4 every year. There's moments where they want him out and the moments where he's manager of the month. He's like that type of manager, and the way he is and the way Exeter are. And ultimately, there's been 3 or 4 occasions where they've wanted him out. And there's been occasions at Bloomfield Road a couple of years ago. There was moments where they were, I think, away at Bolton, where did they lose 6-0, 5-6-0? I think, and there was moments where they should have, it might have been even 7-0, I can't remember, where there was calls for him to I think it was 7-0, lose his job. And that was only 18 months ago. Now, it does feel at Exeter, how long can he go on there? Because how long can he continue to
defy the odds?
Yeah, and I do still think that he will still do it. Maybe there'll be a drop-off season where he gets relegated. But ultimately, I feel that it's just the same. All he's doing is the same. And it's get to 55 points, right? Okay, we go again. Repeat. And he's done it now for, 4 seasons? There's never anything else you think Exeter can go and do. You think he's taken them as far as he can probably take them, and he can't peak. He's done FA Cups. He's taken them to Man City. He obviously conceded 10, So I get it. So I get why he'd want to go to Wigan. However, at Wigan Athletic, the expectation to Exeter is totally different from FA Cup winners. He's a player there. He's won promotions there as a manager, and they've been successful there as a player. But ultimately, he's got to go there and play a good brand of football, go and score lots of goals, A, keep them up this year as well, but B, next season go and push on. Now, if he goes and gets 60 points with Wigan Athletic next season, he's a failure. He's not a failure, but because they've improved from this season, but he's done okay. He's not. If he does it at Exeter, wow. Ooh, what a season. What a manager. And you're talking about, is Gary Cole one of the managers of the year, underrated? And that is the difference. Look at Thomas Frank at Brentford to Tottenham. When you do certain stuff, like Thomas Frank was doing the lap of honour after certain games that they'd lost. You can't do that at Spurs, but you can do it at Brentford. Whereas at Exeter, you can do it. But go to Wigan, you won't really be allowed that position. Mm-hmm. So I can get why you might want to go, but I can get ultimately why he might be in trouble this year as well. I think that he'll be in trouble. And I can totally get behind it of why he might leave the club. What about yourself?
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? I think he obviously has close connections to Wigan. He played for them as a player, was really successful. Obviously, part of that team that won the FA Cup. He managed them before, won the league, and I spoke to Charlie Keegan about it when we were talking about the League One relegation battle on the EFL debate this week. How Max Power said that playing under Gary Caldwell was his favourite, of all the 3 League One titles that he won with Wigan. He said that one was by far the most enjoyable because Gary Caldwell, obviously having played football as a player manager, it just felt a lot better. And I think going into that job, I think it's a sensible appointment. I think it's steady. Could Wigan have gone and got someone more ambitious? Yes, but I think they did that in the form of Ryan Lowe, quite an ambitious manager, having managed at Preston. I think a lot of clubs, when Ryan Lowe went into Wigan, probably would have taken Ryan Lowe at their club in League One. So yeah, I think it's a good appointment. He will definitely. I said this on Thursday night. I think he'll definitely keep Wigan up in terms of the style of football that he plays and makes it. How he makes it. He's done so well at Exeter to do it, like a siege mentality. It's a world against us. I think he'll do. I think that will work. A joy. It's that next step. Will he kick Wigan on because Wigan have a budget? Maybe not as big a one as maybe some other teams in this league will have, but can he then go and play with a budget and be successful? Because we haven't seen that side of Gary Caldwell. Some managers are way better when they're dealing with rations and have to really wheel and deal and get their way through threes and loans or whatever. But you give them you give them a budget, and all of a sudden they start spending silly money. So I'm apprehensive about it, but I'm sure the Wigan fans will be absolutely delighted because he's a name that they know. He's got good history with the football club, and I feel like everyone at Wigan need unity. They need to come together if they're going to stay in the league. So, I mean, where it leaves Exeter, I imagine. Obviously, I don't know the information. I imagine they will go internal. I don't think they're going to have the budget to bring anyone external into the football club. So it's a tough one for them, isn't it? Because all of a sudden they're above the bottom four at this minute in time. But if Gary Caldwell goes, you could see a bit of a drop off from the Grecians.
I put him 22nd, by the way. I was just frantically looking. If you saw me looking down, 22nd.
I thought you'd seen that. Oh man, I thought you'd seen this picture that had come up on Facebook. I'm glad you haven't seen that yet.
What?
So the club tweeted this out yesterday.
I've seen that.
Good man. Giving it.
Someone tweeted it yesterday. By the way, we've just frantically gone up to 172.
Here they are.
Here they are. The
Bolton podcast are here.
Have come.
Hello.
We will be talking Lncoln Bolton very shortly. 180 now. If you haven't already, over half of you lot aren't subscribed. So if you haven't already, please do me a massive favour. Like the stream. That helps get more people in. But also subscribe. 21 now away. So subscribe. Let's see if we can try and get as close to 18,500 subscribers. We'd love to hit it on stream. I don't think we will. But next up, Cardiff City 3, Luton Town 1, Jake. Big win for the Bluebirds yesterday. League One leaders, Cardiff City, going 4 clear. 31 matches, 20 victories. Unbelievable at home. 38 goals at home. And 40 points, won 9 of the last 10 at home. 10 points clear with a game in hand on Bolton Wanderers. And they are just frantic in another game where, again, they've only won narrowly on the scoreline, but it could have possibly been a lot more. 60% of possession, very close to that as well. And they just move the ball really well. They score goals. Every bit of concern I had for them earlier in the year where they said I'm wrong, and I went, they'll come unstuck. Absolutely not. So happy to be proven wrong. And a great victory for them. Luton, their away form is honking against the Bluebirds. Striking hot home form. And, it was Valentine's Day yesterday. What's not to love for the Bluebirds?
I think your comment last week was actually really good. They just look comfortable, don't they, in games? They look like they ease through them. And I give Brian Barry Murphy a huge amount of credit for that, the way that they ease through games. Look, I know I was pretty bullish on Cardiff last week. I still feel like you can get at Cardiff, and I do think that is the case. But yesterday, I thought that, the setback to concede that penalty, which I thought was a little bit soft, Ben. I don't know what you thought about it from a neutral point of view. I thought the lad got the ball, and I didn't think it was a foul. But to react from the setback of getting pegged back, just to go up the other end and casually score 2 more goals ever so quickly was fantastic. And they've got that in them, Cardiff. They can go stride. Not many teams in this league can go stride for stride with Cardiff City, and any team that can will probably get promoted alongside Cardiff City. But they are, the way that they control games, Brian Barry Murphy, the way that they keep the ball. And
yeah. It's what it's like, Jake. It's like they're the best team in the league by some distance, isn't it? The 4 points,
they're not there.
The 10 points clear of third, right? You beat them in a one-off match. Well done, right? But over 46 games, I'm telling you, I will predict this now, right? Cardiff will win the league by a minimum of 8 points, if not double digits.
Well, if Cardiff win the league by...
I think Cardiff will win the league by 10 points, which will show to me over the course of this, genuinely, honestly, in every game, I would say in 90% of their games this year that they have won, I think they should have won by more. I feel they feel so comfortable in games. I feel at times they win 1-0, they should win 8-0 at times. Genuinely, I'm not even being pedantic here. Early in the year, they were getting away with one, I thought, the Reading game, and there was a couple of other games at Stockport they should have lost. There was 3 or 4 games in the year where they probably should have won at the game. But now they're winning 2-3-1, 3-0. But come on, mate. Like, you don't feel they're going to let up. Right, let's be honest about it. I'm not being disrespectful to Lncoln there, mate. But take Lncoln out of it. The next team near to them is 10 points away. And one thing I will say is, and I'm saying that, right, in the game that they played against Lincoln, Bolton, Stockport and Bradford, well, at Bradford, they've lost 1 and won 1. At Stockport, they've drawn 2 out of 2. Bolton have lost away from them, and Lincoln lost away from them. So I get you. Teams can get at them and can be better than them. But over the course of 46 games, I think they're the most comfortable outfit. I think they play the most comfortable football. They know what they are. They just breeze through games. They're just so airily, they'll just pick up points. And with Lincoln, you feel that a bit anxious, about the game. With Cardiff, you just think, yeah, they'll get the job done.
Yeah, I don't have anything against Cardiff. I massively don't. I don't think that's a fair thing for me to say, because I've been very complimentary on Cardiff all season. And ultimately, I think they will end up getting automatically promoted. But again, I thought the performance, I thought they were fantastic yesterday. I thought they were really, really good. I think I've said this before. I know I've said this before about Josh Keeley in goal, who was in goal for Luton yesterday. Such an overrated goalkeeper is Josh Keeley. I just think he's so, and he made a mistake yesterday. I think it was for the second goal, and the third goal doesn't look glamorous.
Every week you criticise that lad.
Yeah, bless him. He probably
worse than me. Worse than me in a certain Fleetwood strike.
I think he sits there and probably watches this and and cries into his massive paycheck. Right, so fair play to Josh Keeley for winning on that aspect. But he did make mistakes, and I thought Luton was shambolically defending yesterday. So yeah, look, it's a difficult one. It is a difficult one, but they did really well. I thought they played really, really well, Cardiff, and they warranted the 3 points. But yeah, they are the best team in the league at this particular moment in time. They absolutely are, and I'm not saying that they're not. I think if teams, I feel like I don't know if this is right, Ben. I don't know if I'm wrong to say it. I feel like teams are a little bit scared to have a go at Cardiff.
I don't think so, because I think Bradford had a go. I think Lincoln had a. I think the teams around them have had a go at them. Bolton battered them.
I don't think. I think teams down the bottom.
You just let Cardiff have. I think for me though, you can't. You've got to let Cardiff have the ball. You can't really go and outplay them because they'll just pass around you.
They've arrived. The fans are not have arrived. Cole's signed.
Yeah, but I think we'll get to it. But I think they'll just pass around you. Luton quickly.
Yeah.
Playoff battle under Jack Wilshere, they've been horrific away. They've been good at home. I think they've only lost the Mansfield game. Correct. But away from home, Luton, only 4 wins in 15. They've lost 9 out of 15. 14 points. For a team that, again, that are in a playoff battle, you just look at it and they've got one more away game to go than home games. You've got 8 of the next 15 away. I'm going to get in the playoffs like that, and ultimately at home they're in the playoffs, but ultimately they're averaging less than 1.5 points a game, and they're in a playoff battle. That's bonkers to me. And the 4 points off, yes, with the game in hand, but they need to go on a series. I think they need 28 points from 15 games, which is, Bolton territory. Right. Oh God.
Are you ready, Ben? 3 now. Come on, Bolton fans, let's have it. Put your gloves on.
184 people in the chat. 190 in the chat. If you haven't already, please like the show. That'd be appreciated. It's free to do so. And subscribe. Over half the people who watch these shows are subscribed. And we're now 18 away, and we've got 202 in the chat. That is absolutely bonkers. There we are. Thank you very much to those that have joined. Jake, Lincoln City won, Bolton won. I'm going to let you start and I'll come in. Talk me through it.
This is what you do, right? Because I'm going to go.
Do you want me to start?
You know exactly what I'm going to do. And you're going to stick up for Bolton. You're going to stick up for Bolton. I know you are. I know you are.
I'll start.
Go on.
I'll start. No, I won't. No. Listen, I'm here to be fair, right? And provide a balanced argument. I will. Do you want me to say a bit, or do you want you?
I'd like to hear your. I'd like to hear your.
Right. Okay. So basically,
as a neutral,
this game,
both teams.
Yeah. Right. This is a big game. This was a massive game in the season. Hello to Bolton fans. It almost felt Lincoln didn't need to win this game. Bolton did. Now Bolton have got 14 games left. Obviously with a draw. And with that draw, Lincoln go 14 unbeaten. Bolton continue a great unbeaten run as well. And they find something. But Lincoln at home, these types of games, if they were to get promoted, these are the types of games where Lincoln would have to improve and get over that winning hurdle, because there's 22, 23 bigger challenges than Bolton at home in the Championship right now, because Bolton are obviously not a Championship football club. Bolton had to come and win, but ultimately Lncoln yet again show what they're all about, and they came out like greyhounds. They came out fighting, firing, and right in Bolton's faces, and I was very impressed. Now, I've watched the extended highlights, and I'll be honest with you, I watched parts of this game back in pauses in the Fleetwood game because I was very intrigued in the game. And Lncoln came out, in my opinion, the better side. And then Bolton had a bit of a spell up before the Lncoln goal that Lncoln had to waver through. And then Lincoln's in that first half of football, they just seem to get goals at important times. And Jack Moylan's goal is out of this world. I must have seen it 7 or 8 times. The way he just put it into the corner like it's nothing. And for me, you're looking at big players that step up. And I was asking about 4 to 6 weeks ago for the attacking players of Lncoln to step up because they weren't really adding much. And well, Jack Moylan, since he's returned from injury, we got a brace against Burton Albion, didn't he? He scored against Bradford City, scored the winner at Wigan, and obviously scored an important goal here. And then after that, it was all Lncoln, and how they've not scored. Moylan's hit a bar. It was all Lncoln had opportunities, and in the football match, what?
Streety at the post.
Yeah, obviously 22 shots, 10 on target, right? And Bolton Lncoln came out. What I did expect was a bit of a reaction from Bolton at half time. And I must say as well, by the way, on the highlights, and fair man, I've seen a few videos of inside the stadium. I must say fair play to the 10,500 supporters inside the ground. Both sets of supporters made it the game it deserved. And I was worried about this game of football that be a banging atmosphere, but the game would be 0-0 and be dull and cagey. I don't think it was anything like that. I think Lncoln came at it, and I think where Lncoln have been guilty in the past in big games, they've maybe gone defensive and tried to nick a point. And I thought that's what Lncoln would do. But being at home, outstanding. That's what you want an aggressive home side to be if you want to go and get promotion. And they knew, they weren't thinking, if we lose it, they were thinking, we could go 9 clear. They weren't thinking, they could be 3. They were thinking, not being scared of Bolton. And ultimately, Bolton have got a good squad. And they came back into the game. And Sam Dalby, I mentioned big characters and moments in seasons. And Bolton have had that in the last few weeks. Those late winners, across the season. We know historically, I think they scored 13 goals, past 80 minutes. Sam Dalby just finds a way. And how important has he been towards Bolton Wanderers? I think that he's like John Daddy Bodvarsson. He's a different type of striker. He's rough, he's ready, he can hold it, he can pin defenders, he can turn on the half turn. And he's not the most glamorous, but he's one of those players that the ball will stick when it goes up to him. And he's been living off scraps. And then Bolton have their moments in the game, and you're thinking, could they go and nick something? And then right at the end, it's an absolute tussle after that Bolton's goal. And I think Lncoln can be really proud of their performance. I think they can say, wow, we've not had a lot of the ball, but we let Bolton have it. But when Lncoln got it, they were fast, they were explosive, they were electric, they had shots on target, they had the bar, they tested the keeper. Bonham in goal had an outstanding game. But Bolton stuck in the game, and that's what good sides need to do, and that's why Bolton are up there ultimately. One thing I will say about Bolton, they've got a great squad, but ultimately, my football team has been in a promotion battle with Bolton. When Bolton, by the way, had an unbelievable squad, Lafondra, Wheater, they were the bee's knees. But ultimately, I thought Fleetwood could compete with them, with their team. Where I felt scared of them and intimidated with them was the fan base. Bolton Wanderers. It's the name. It's the sheer size of them. And ultimately, they weren't great yesterday. But it's something about that football club, something special about that football club where you fear that, yes, they're only 6 points behind you. Yes, you've got the upper hand. And yes, you play better. But Bolton Wanderers, they are lurking. And I think that goal at the end just keeps them interested. And it just sets a reminder to Lncoln that Bolton Wanderers aren't out of this yet. And their fan base, again, a great away in yesterday. Really enjoyable game of football. How was it from the Lncoln point of view? Have I got anything wrong there?
No, not massively. Do I think we should have won the game? Look, when we played this game in August, right, and we went 1-0 up really early, and Bolton peppered us, a lot of Bolton fans came on here and said, we should have won that game. We deserve to win that game. We peppered you, we peppered you, we peppered you. Yesterday, we peppered Bolton. They got a point, but they deserved it. I thought Bolton were they weren't average, but I didn't think they were fantastic for a long time. I thought they were. I was quite disappointed. They kept the ball well in their back 2/3, and they weren't really hurting us. And it was when they did play it out to that left-hand side where they had Corey Blackett-Taylor, who I thought was probably their best player in that first half. And then they took him off and brought Sissoko on, and I didn't really know what Schumacher was trying to do. But I thought Lncoln played particularly well yesterday, and on another day, probably score at least 2 or 3 goals. We hit the post, we hit the bar. Jack Bonham, I think, I will play it. I will give him a huge amount of credit. He kept Bolton Wanderers in a game yesterday, and when you play a game against Bolton, big Bolton, and their goalkeeper is the man of the match, I think that tells you absolutely everything in terms of how much they were under. They have the ball pretty possession. They have the ball, play it between Farino, Johnston, whatever. Sheehan came on, played really well, but they weren't progressing it anywhere enough. But the difference between when Lncoln had the ball, forward, quickly, aggressive, Rico Hackett, outstanding, Jack Moylan, outstanding, goal involvements again for those two. I think we need to have serious conversations about them two being two of the better players in this league this season, but they won't get named because they play for Lncoln, and we're not Bolton, we're not Cardiff, we're not Bradford, we're not Stockport, whatever. I think the stat that tells me everything that you need to know about this game, as the stat was at their place, in terms of we've had 22 shots.
Would you have taken that away from? Sorry to interrupt. Quick question.
Right, I knew you were going to stand up for him. I knew you were going to.
No, listen.
I knew it. I knew it. Ben. Ben. Listen. Ben, we should have won this game yesterday.
Yeah, you may. Right, listen to me.
I think the eye test.
Listen, take your house problems. I'm asking you a question. Lncoln should have won the game. I agree with you, right?
But we didn't.
If you went away at Bolton Wanderers, right, yesterday, that game was the flip reserve. Bolton were the home team, and Bolton battered you in terms of the stats, and you got a last minute equal. You got an equaliser like that. Would you or not be coming on here saying, "Look, we got battered, but you go away at Bolton, rival for the promotion. We've gone away from home. We've dug in, and we've got a point. It's a great performance. You're not going to have the ball at the side." No, I'm not. I'm not sticking up for them.
You are.
I'm playing devil's advocate, right? And I'm spinning it, right? Would you have taken a point away at Bolton
at the start? When we played them at the start,
because you would have.
That wasn't the way the game went. That's not the way the game went because we went in front and conceded right at the end.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that.
And like we've said it all season, we think the circumstances in that game Lncoln probably should have closed that out and won the game, right? Even though Bolton.
I agree. I agree. I'm just asking you, what would you have said if that game yesterday?
We didn't. So it's a point. It's a point.
Because you know what you'd be saying. You'd be going, "Oh yes, we dug in the game." No matter how you play, ultimately, Jake, you played really well, Jake. Waste of a good performance because you didn't win the game.
But Bolton were lucky to come out of there with a point yesterday.
I agree with you. Oh, you could also say Lncoln at times have been lucky to get 3 points somewhere.
Well, every team, I would argue, every team's been fortunate.
Exactly. But there you are. Bolton had theirs yesterday.
I thought we should have been outside before Bolton even had a chance, to be honest. But I will give them credit. I thought that clearly, to be fair, I thought the referee was particularly poor in the game for both teams. He was bad for both teams. He was giving yellow cards out for almost no reason. There was a couple of tackles that I think maybe could have been given as second yellows as well. I didn't like the way the Bolton players went straight towards the ref when Freddie Draper went and put in a late tackle on one of their players.
No.
I didn't really like all that. But I thought we were good value for 3 points yesterday. If we play like that against Northampton on Tuesday, I think we win 3 or 4-0 quite comfortably.
You worry about maybe you have to make a few changes for Tuesday night
because I think the squad. I think the squad is really strong. I think you looking at players that are going to come in, the likes of Tom Bayliss, Ryan One, Alfie Lloyd. I think we've got a really strong group to come on. But yeah, look, in terms of the promotion race, right? Bolton have got no closer to us. There's a game less. I'm still happy. We've still got that game.
Exactly what I said to you.
We've got a game on Tuesday night. They're away at Reading, which I think is a really tough game, especially given the form that they're on at the minute as well. Which Bolton will be thinking they can win. Absolutely.
Do you fear Bolton? Do you think they'll go and get more points than you before now the end of the year?
No. I think we'll get a. I think we'll get a
Do you
similar.
think Lincoln?
Do I think Bolton will get 6 more points between now and the end of the season than Lincoln? No, I don't. I don't think they've got
Do
it.
you think they're? Do you think? If you made a combined team, how many of those would you have in your team?
Well, based on this season,
Yeah.
I not many because they've not played to a high level enough to get in our team.
Fair
I don't
enough.
think. I think if Bolton players were at their top level, Josh Sheehan was at his top level. If Ethan O'Ryan was at his top level, if all these players were at their top level, probably a couple would get in our team.
Yeah. O'Ryan would get in your team.
Yeah, probably. Well, based on this season, if he was at the top level, maybe, but he's not. So I think Conor McGrandles has been better this season than Ethan O'Ryan.
I think that Conor McGrandles is in no disrespect. Yes, he's high in the league, but Conor McGrandles at Bolton, if he put in the performance that he has at Lncoln, he'd be 6 out of 10. At Lncoln, he's 8 out of 10. Standards are different. And I'm not being disrespectful there. I'm just saying Bolton, because the way the fans are, and I totally get it, they expect that every week. At Lncoln, if you're that, it's fine. And that's no disrespect to either the side. It's just Bolton have higher standards. All I'm saying is just answer the question, right? If Lncoln had played like Bolton yesterday, but it was at Bolton, you would have been very happy.
You'd be happy with a point, absolutely.
Because you are 6 points in front, it's slightly different because they're 6 points behind. But ultimately, Bolton's stuck in it, and I'm not sticking up for them. All I'm asking you is, how would you feel if you were the
I completely understand why they're over the moon at getting a point at Little Lincoln City. I completely understand, right? So yesterday was way bigger for Bolton than it was for Lincoln in terms of the automatic promotion. But in terms of I think, well, it just shows you how far Bolton have fallen, and I know Colin will completely agree with that. But look, I can understand why they're buzzing, right? They've scored in the last 10 minutes. I was disappointed in Bolton that they got that goal and they never really kicked on. They never really went for a second. It almost was a little bit like Schumacher went, do you know what? A point's fine. When if they had really tried, they could have forced opportunities. But yeah, look, we had. I'm happy. I'm frustrated, right? And I think it shows a long way that we've come. Given we're frustrated to draw 1-1 with Bolton Wanderers at home, I think we've come a long way. So, look, I'm disappointed we didn't win. Yes,
yeah, absolutely.
We didn't win because we made the chances to win the game of football. We didn't, but we didn't lose. Like you said about Bolton, it's a game down. We've got a couple of really good games to get some points on the board. Yeah, I don't think that's done any good for Bolton. Personally, I think they needed to come here and win, and they didn't. So I said that.
Yeah, again, and I wasn't sticking up for Bolton. I was asking you a question, like before you were getting answering me. I was just kind of asking you a question of where you see it, and I think that realistically, if that was at Bolton Wanderers and you drawn that 1-1 in the situation Bolton had at your place, I think you'd be coming on here.
I was ecstatic with a point in the way that we got a point.
I get it, but you'd have been ecstatic. I think from the point
different. It's a bit different. Lincoln going to Bolton,
it is different.
Bolton coming to Lincoln.
Yeah, you can play that card all you want, but ultimately,
you've been shying
away from my question. You've been shying away from this question, so I'll ask you. You're going to play, the Mr. Billy Big Boots. Do you believe yet? Because you're 14 unbeaten, Jay.
Of course I do. Yeah.
Because I personally think that for me, Bolton got 14 games left. I probably think they'll be stretched to probably go and get.
They've got to win 10 or 11.
Maybe 82 points. I think they could get 26 points, 27 points, maybe 83. Stockport, I think, could go and get more points than Bolton. I genuinely do believe that. I genuinely think now this is in Lincoln's hands. I think these next 3 or 4 games, I think up to March the 7th, 14th, as I said, I think you play Rotherham on 21st. Up to that period, it's massive for you. Bolton fans, I know you give Jake stick. Put your comments in, and we'll talk about it. I'm more than happy to put your questions to Jake, and obviously I put my point across and try to play devil's advocate for both sides. But Lincoln yesterday, on it, with a better side. They should have won that game of football and probably should have won it more than 1-0. But ultimately, you don't always get what you deserve. And
correct.
Exactly. But one thing I will say is, Bolton will be disappointed, but how far they've dropped in recent years, I don't really like using that argument because they've had awful owners and they've been through the absolute deeps of the mire and they're in a much better position than they were 7 or 8 years ago. And yes, they expect a certain standard and need to fed up with this league, but ultimately they're here because of mismanagement and wrong decisions. So I'm never going to use that card at all. I think that slightly wrong, if I'm honest with you. That yes, Bolton have fallen, but there's reasons for them falling, and sometimes you've got to take positives from anything as well. That's one thing I'll say is not everything is always, when my club's the best and we're doing the best we've done in your career because it's Lncoln.
No, but I've had a lot.
You could also play devil's advocate. Look how far Bolton have fallen and look how
exactly.
They're absolutely best and they're meeting each other. So also Lncoln have done well to get where they are, but without Bolton failing, Lincoln City wouldn't be playing big bad Bolton Wanderers.
My reaction, and some of it comes from the fact that all week I've had nothing that Lincoln are tin pot, Lincoln are this, Lincoln are that. So, when big Bolton Wanderers don't come and win at Little Lincoln City, I'm completely entitled to give it back. So, I'm all here for it. I enjoy the banter. I quite enjoy the interaction with Bolton fans.
As my job, I've got to put probing questions to you.
I enjoy it. But I think a lot of Bolton fans walked away yesterday. Thanks for flashing the table and reminding them of where they are in the league table. I appreciate that.
That's the table.
I think let me just make this last point, right? I think a lot of Bolton fans walked away from Central Bank yesterday and gained a lot more respect for Lincoln City. I think a lot of them thought, "Oh, well, Lincoln can fall off quite heavily."
Can I just say, right?
I think a lot. Wait a minute. I think they've got a lot more respect for Lincoln City now. No. Seeing the way that we're coached, seeing the way that we play, I think they can understand why we're up there.
Let me level with you here, right? People rate Lincoln, right? They only think it because you're overachieving. They're thinking, how are they doing it, right? Because they haven't got the biggest fan base. You've got a good fan base, don't get me wrong. And you ran well, as I said before, got great directors, but they're jealous of how you keep doing it, right? The reason why they don't have admiration for you, the reason why they don't want you to go up is because of you. Because of you, right? They don't, because of... Wait, you've not done it yet. Obviously, Bolton Wanderers could do it, but ultimately, I think that their fan base, if you'd have won, you'd say, "Oh my God," but they didn't. So I get it. I think everyone's hoping for a downfall just for you, mate. So
absolutely. I enjoy it, right? Yeah. This is a Sheffield Wednesday fan.
Let's just hope this year that if you. Let's see you do, and you don't almost get to where you are. Let's hope this year you decide to come on the show, unlike last time. Playoffs, top 2 race. That's where it's at. So
that is where it's at.
Bolton 56, 6 behind you. Big games coming up. Stockport 9 behind you with that game in hand. Obviously, they drew where you won last week. I think Bradford are out of the situation as are Huddersfield. Oh, it looks good though, doesn't it? It could look a lot different though in a week's time. You could be level on points with Bolton Wanderers. That's how football can change.
Yeah, they've got I think they've got Reading and Blackpool this week, right? Bolton, I think. I think they'll be. I expect Bolton to take at minimum 4 points out of that. We've got Northampton and Mansfield. So again, I'll be looking for a similar sort of points return. So yeah, I think it's going to be. An exciting week. But we could be level. But then Tuesday night, Ben, if we win and they lose, the gap opens up to 9 points anyway. So we'll wait and see. It's a long way to go, right? There's a lot of points to be. Conveniently, Ash has joined after we've spoken about how bad Peterborough United are. I think it's. There's a lot of points to play for. There's Bolton have got 14 games left. They've got 40. What's that?
42 points.
42 points to play for Bolton. Is that right?
Yeah.
Bolton have got 42 points to play for. They're probably going to have to go and get 35 or
I think 88 will do it.
30. They've got to go and get 33. They can only drop 9 points. Or between.
I think 8 wins and 1 draw will be enough for them.
And knowing Bolton, you know how we said earlier, Luton 4 wins and 15 on the road. Bolton are 4 wins and 16, by the way. So just to let you know. I think they'll be dropping some points on the road this season. But if they don't and they go and get 33 points, fair play to them, they'll have pushed us all the way. But yeah, I'm excited to see how it all ends, to be honest.
Good chat. Good chat. Hopefully you've enjoyed that, guys. If you haven't already, that is us every week, me and him bickering and arguing and me trying to get a bite out of him, which I so often do. We are now 11 subscribers away from 18,500 subscribers. If you haven't already, please go and do me a favour. Go and subscribe down below. That'll be appreciated. We've had 16 of you subscribe on the show. So another 11, that'll be unbelievable. So go down there, press subscribe and like the show as well as we go into predictions. And also as well, get your comments in. If you've got any comments for me or Jake about League One, about football, about the table, about your team that you'd like to answer in, we'll answer them. So get them in. Obviously, you get a lot of stick. Put questions here, put your opinions, and we'll rate your opinions. I'm very happy to do that. There's a lot of good opinions out there, but sometimes when people go online, it's maybe not as good. That's all I'll say. Predictions, Jake.
Yeah, bad week for you, Ben. To be honest, probably not something that you were looking for. Midweek, obviously 2 games. Like I said to you before, you got 3 points. You got the posh Mansfield score right. Obviously, I was retaliating against Ashley, so I got that one wrong. The Stevenage game was postponed, and then for some reason I didn't predict Wigan versus Reading, and you did, but you got it wrong. So you got 3, I got none, which meant that you took a narrow lead going into this weekend's games, Ben. 210 to 209, and then the weekend, Ben. Just a single point for you this week. Any ideas which correct result you got right? Pretty easy. Back to home, the best team of the league to win at home, Cardiff. Whereas I got 2 correct scores. I got Bradford to win, and I predicted Lncoln to draw 1-1 with Bolton. So that means I got 7, you got 1, meaning you're on 211, and I am on 217, a 6-point gap. Could say that sounds familiar.
I knew that was going you on
there. It's all part of the banter, mate, right? It's all part of fun and games. Right, Ben, don't forget, we're here on Wednesday night for League One Live because we have a full...
Can I just say, right?
Yeah? You don't want me on?
No. Well, I'm already making arrangements for that to happen. When you get promoted, right? That show, you will not be needed because then you are not League One related.
What's the next season I'm out?
Well, no, you can stay on if you want.
Yeah, it'd be nice to talk about Bolton. I need to talk about Bolton in some form, don't I?
Yeah. Well, I was meant to. Well, I got asked to go and do something on Wednesday night. I was like, sorry, I can't. Why? I just got work. You finish work at 4 o'clock. I went, no, I've got extra curriculum. I've got to go and do League One Live
activities. Absolutely, Nappers. Absolutely.
100 likes, 5 likes away from 100 likes, Jacob.
Come on, people. We need 5 more likes. I expect 5 more likes before we end the show. Right, Ben.
8 away now from 18,500 subscribers. Come on now.
Ben,
unbelievable.
Start with you. Barnsley against Peterborough United. Oakwell, Tuesday night.
This is one of the only 2 clubs at Barnsley. I want you to give reasons. I'm going to give reasons. One of the only clubs that Barnsley have kept a clean sheet against this year. Peterborough, been hit and miss lately. They've either been really good or really poor.
Don't nick my prediction. I beg.
Barnsley 1, Peterborough 2.
Thanks. Enjoyed that. Barnsley 2, Peterborough 2. I think we have a Desmond. We've got Bradford against Stockport on Tuesday night. Massive game at Valley Parade. And do you know what? Like we keep saying about Bradford at home, I'm really impressed with them. But Stockport, to their credit, are a very good away side. I think they're like 3rd or 4th in the away league table.
Yeah, won 7 out of 14.
I think the recent. I'm gonna go Bradford City 2, Stockport County 1. I think Bradford get a big win on the
belt. What did you go for? 2-1.
2-1 Bradford.
Yeah, I can see that. I really can. I think under the light, Bradford good at home, Stockport good away. 1-1. I wanted 2-1, but 1-1. I can't really see a draw, so I don't want to go in a draw, but Yeah, I think this is a big game because I think if Stockport lose this, for me personally, that's top 2 race. It's not over, but it'd be very difficult.
A long way behind then, aren't they?
Yeah, because ultimately it's like me saying Manford are out of the playoff battle, or Exeter can't get relegated because they're so far in front. Anything can happen, but it'd be a long way to go for me after that situation.
Right then, coming back to you, Burton Albion against Rotherham United.
This is a massive game, isn't it? Because obviously down at the bottom, and Burton's record against the sides around them is quite poor. They've lost back-to-back games against Wigan, and they drew at Rotherham early, and they should have won that. I think Burton will win it 2-1. I think extra time might have killed them a little bit. That's my only worry, but I think they'll get a win. Gary Bowyer's tricky Brewers.
You got to remember, this is Burton playing against a team down the bottom. I'm going to go Burton Albion. Burton Albion 1, Rotherham United 2. I think Rotherham get a season-defining win at the Pirelli on Tuesday night. Cardiff versus Wimbledon for me, Ben. I think this is pretty much a walkover, in my opinion. Although Wimbledon have been good at playing the underdog this season, they've had good performances away at Luton, away at Barnsley. But I think Cardiff will have too much for them. I'm going to go Cardiff City 3, Wimbledon 0.
Exactly what I wanted, you absolute sleazeball. Cardiff won this early in the year 1-0 late on. Nick Davis scored that night. This was also these were all Tuesday night games, I think, early in the year as well, weren't they? I'm going to go for 2-0 Cardiff.
Ben, to you then for Doncaster Rovers against Huddersfield Town in a Yorkshire derby.
This is a big one. I think a Doncaster fan put up, they've had to pay something like £10 per shot on target they've seen from Rovers this year, which has everything you need to know. I think they've had to pay £88 for their season ticket for every home win. Doncaster 0, Huddersfield 2. Back on track for the Terriers.
Doncaster Rovers 2, Huddersfield Town 1. I think Doncaster get another big win. Elliot Lee inspired on Tuesday night. Ben, it's me first. For Exeter against Wycombe, and obviously a lot can change between now and Tuesday, I'm going to anticipate that Gary Caldwell goes out the door before Tuesday night's game against Wycombe. Therefore, I'm going to go Exeter City 1, Wycombe Wanderers 1. I
think if he does go, there'll be still a unity there. I just don't think that Exeter, the way they are as that football club, I think they'll get through in a spirit between now and the end of the year. Exeter 2, Wycombe 1. I think Wycombe's season is getting towards that stage now of
do or die.
Yeah, I think they've won 11, drawn. They've been the same. They've always kind of won 1, drawn 1, lost 1 all season.
Right then, moving on, Ben. For you first, for Leyton Orient against Plymouth Argyle. Difficult on this.
Yeah, Orient need to start getting wins, and Plymouth again on a great win. I think they'll go again. Leyton Orient 0, Plymouth 1. Leyton Orient didn't play, did they? So
no, that is what is tipping me towards the home.
Sometimes I don't think that's always a good thing because you can be out of the game mentality.
I'm going to go for Leyton Orient 2, Plymouth Argyle 1. I think it's a. I just think that they're going to win and Don Ballard's going to score and get them out of a hole. Right, Lncoln versus Northampton, obviously on Tuesday night. I'm going to go Lncoln City 2, Cobblers 0.
I'd have thought before when I was running.
There we go.
That Lncoln would lose this 2-1.
Ben's going to predict Lncoln to lose for the.
What did you go for?
2-0.
It's working though.
Well, it didn't work really that well on Saturday, did it?
Lncoln 3, Northampton 1. I'm really sorry I'm doing that for you. I don't want to make you too upset.
I'm gutted about it.
And Cobblers go, yeah.
Right, Ben, coming to you first for Stevenage against Port Vale.
So we play Port Vale. This is, tell you something now. This is a big game for Stevenage. I'm the master. I'm like Farley, make small games into big games. For Stevenage, if they can win this, it doesn't feel like a free win, but it feels like an ideal opportunity to go and get back to that win and go and get a bit of form together. Stevenage 2, Port Vale 0. Go on,
Yeah.
the boy. Go on, the boy.
You know exactly what's going to come. Stevenage 1, Caldwell 0. Set piece goal from a corner this time.
30% possession.
If that happens, right, I want an extra point somewhere. Right, Ben. Me first for Blackpool against Mansfield. Now, Mansfield won in the FA Cup away at Burnley on Saturday, which really annoyed me because I don't. Winning at Burnley is a big ask, in it, Nappers? I mean, I know you boys.
You know what I liked about it more as well? That teams winning it in the FA Cup away at Burnley. Obviously, my team didn't. Fleetwood lost 1-0 in the last 16 in the last minute. But I always like teams that win at Turf Moor and scoring 2 goals. Great, isn't it? Not every team go and do that.
I don't know another team that did it. Did you do it?
No, I'm taking the mick because you only won there 1-0.
Oh yeah, but we made history that day, mate.
Yeah.
I'm going to go
the next game.
Eh?
What?
We lost to the winners.
Right. Only Lncoln. Only Lncoln.
We lost to Mesut Ozil and Alexis Sanchez.
That's what you'll say in the playoff final. Yeah, we lost to the wins of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Great season.
We're not going to be there. You know that.
Can you just imagine you bottle it, you're finishing down the playoffs, and you lose the playoff final?
You wouldn't find that funny.
Oh my God.
You wouldn't find that funny.
Maybe.
You wouldn't. Blackpool 1, Mansfield 1.
Blackpool 1, Mansfield 2. It stinks at Blackpool right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Blackpool won this 2-0 because they need a reaction. I never says it will change. But ultimately, most females in relationships say that, and they don't always end up changing, do they, Jake?
No, it's true. It's true, mate. That's a good lesson for life. Right, Ben, another big game. Last game for us on Tuesday because we have a Wednesday night game as well. Reading against Bolton Wanderers. Right.
I know mine.
As much as I want Reading to get a result, and I think they could get a result, I'm going Reading 1, Bolton Wanderers 2.
Reading 2, Bolton Wanderers 1. I've manifested it. I think it's going to happen. I think Bolton, I can see it on Twitter. I can just see Lncoln going 9 points clear, and then me having to potentially move to Papua New Guinea.
Can I ask a question? Because Bolton fans before Saturday said if they go 9 points clear of Lncoln having a game in hand, that they would almost write the season off and they'd have to go for the play. Do you think if that happens on Tuesday, that would be Bolton? Do you think Bolton would resign the terms to them?
No, because there's still 39 games to go to catch
39 games to go.
39 points to play for. I think that the fans might, I think the players will, but I genuinely can't see Bolton getting over 85 points. I'll be honest with you. I can't because I don't think the performance levels have been amazing. I've
just gone for that prediction. Not that I think it will happen, obviously.
Bear in mind, by the way, that's my exact prediction for Tuesday night. We and you were.
I don't
care.
I've watched Crew this season.
I don't care.
I've watched Crew this season. There's no way they're going to score 3 goals, mate. They're horrific. Right, Ben.
These two a lump of cheddar cheese.
Wednesday night football, then. Let's go for
Wigan.
Yeah, Wigan, not Wycombe. We had this debate last week, and I nearly got in trouble. Wigan versus Luton on Wednesday night, then.
Wigan 2, Luton 1.
You think Gary Caldwell there or not? In the stands, watching.
Do you imagine he manages Exeter to a win on Tuesday and he's in stands on Wednesday?
Wigan 1, Luton 1, I think, for that.
Yeah.
There you go. That's
unbelievable show. That enjoyed that. 8 games, an hour and 45 minutes. And by the way, 7 subscribers away from 18,500 subscribers. So one last plea. If you could now, let's all see if we can do it. Go down there, press subscribe if you haven't already. Let's see how close we can get. I think we can hit it. We'll get 2 or 3 away. So yeah, if you could subscribe, that'd be massively appreciated. Any last questions, get them in the chat down below. But that was a good show, that, Jake. Thanks as always, mate.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. If there are any Bolton fans that
6
care,
away.
If there are any Bolton fans that care, we are going to release a episode on the game. It should go out on Tuesday morning, so we're going to record it tomorrow. I might get it up tomorrow night. I'll see how I feel. have a bit of a chat about it. So if you want to come over and give me some more stick, please feel free to do so. But yeah, no, I've enjoyed it. I hope the Bradford, of course, I respect Bradford. I hope the Bolton fans know as much as I am obviously saying what I do say at the minute. It is made out of respect. I don't want them to. It's not. It is purely for a laugh, and I hope. I know some Bolton fans take it for what it is. I know a lot of Bolton fans get upset with what I say, so it's not personal. I don't mean it. The reason I'm not impartial is because you're going against my football team, so don't expect it. But it is all a bit of a laugh and a joke. It's not. Don't take it to heart, is what I would say. I know a lot of them do.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for everyone that's watched, liked, commented. Appreciate you. Welcome to the 20 new subscribers. Appreciate you always. Thank you to Jake. Appreciate you as always coming on. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of people that like you, Jake. There's a lot of people that like you.
Well, it surprises me, but I have a massive respect for Bolton Wanderers. I do have massive respect for them.
He's like his character in it. You've got to
if we were like fifth and nowhere near it, I'd be like Bolton, go and get yourself promoted because I want the money for Ethan, right? But because it's us you're up against, unfortunately.
If you went up a second, do you want Bolton to win the playoffs?
Yeah, difficult because if Bradford are in there, I want Bradford to win the playoffs because I like Bradford a lot. But I do like. I'd like to play against Bolton next season. I love the Fan Zone podcast a lot. A huge amount. I have massive respect for them. And I enjoy. Look, a lot of Bolton fans follow me on Twitter. I'm a big fan. I like them. I don't mind them. And it's a nice away day. I get a wing stop, so it's nice.
Good that I went in that wing stop last week, and someone went, I don't like it because I don't understand it, so I couldn't have it. So I was quoted. So I'm still yet to have a wing stop.
Emma.
Yeah, she didn't understand it. I was like, that's great, isn't it? Yeah, thanks, Emma. Still yet to go. 5 away, by the way. Thank you very much. Away. So hopefully hit that in the next few days or so. 4 away. Come on now. If you haven't already, press subscribe. It'll be scenes if we can hit it. There we are. Just looked on Twitter. Liam Richardson took over 13 places. Yeah, unbelievable, isn't it? Since since Bankers and I like it. I like it for different reasons and stuff. I get to see Sue, I get to see Jake, I get to see Cathedral, five-a-side lads, Links, Jack, Matt Flowers, the one that I was waiting for.
Flowers,
yeah,
man, my own heart. Yeah, he goes on holiday this week, so Flowers. I know you'll be watching this on the plane on the way over there, but
is he going to be the curse? He goes and you lose a couple of games.
No.
Are you superstitious? Like you're not doing anything differently at the minute? Or are you just
at the minute we have the Follow Me bear, which is a little bear that has Ivan's face on it, and we got him to sign it yesterday. So we bring the bear to every game, and also every home game since I've had this coat, we've not lost, right? And every away game since I've had the coat that I got for Christmas, we've won every game away from home since then. Bar Luton, so we're unbeaten.
Well, when I wear certain stuff, Jake. Sorry, go on.
It's the coats. I'm sure it's the coats.
When I wear certain stuff, Jake, we win. And then when I wear something else, we draw. Then when I wear something else, we lose 2. Then we draw. Then we win. And we win in 11. So it's great, isn't it? It's brilliant. I love life. I love football. It's great, isn't it? It's just footy. It's just footy.
You're alive to see another day. That's the most important thing.
Thanks, mate. It might not be tomorrow. Bloody hell. You might not be if you go to Macron anytime soon. Jesus.
Yeah,
3 subscribers away now. Thank you very much, whoever's just subscribed. Appreciate you.
I wasn't expecting to get lynched in the fan zone, to be fair.
No, well, like I say, I will. Subscribe, absolutely so. Thank you very much for watching. Oh, Connie. Can't forget Connie on the bacon as well. Absolutely. So, yeah, if you're just joining now, I will put codes back in at the start or in the description where you can basically find your team and subscribe. Well, thank you very much for watching. An hour and 50 minutes for 8 games. Only League One Live can do that.
It's going to be a 3-hour show, isn't it, at this rate?
Yeah. The end of the season awards show as well that we do as well will probably be 3 hours as well. So, yeah, thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Club statement, Jake Tong.
Very good.